All right, so have you ever looked at like a shiny car bumper or, a faucet and been like, is that chrome?
Right.
Or is that something else? Turns out there's like a whole world of difference between chrome and chromate finishes.
Yeah,
And today, that's what we're diving deep on.
that's right.
We've got this article here. It's called Chromate versus Chrome, Understanding the Differences.
Right.
And by the end of this, you, the listener, are going to be able to make like really informed decisions about these finishes, whether you're doing a project or just, want to impress people with how much you know about this stuff.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, when they just see something shiny, they're like, oh, yeah, that's chrome.
Right.
But the article points out most of the time that's probably actually a chromate finish.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so let's unpack these terms.
Sure.
What exactly is chrome?
Yeah.
And how is it different from chromate?
So when we talk about chrome in everyday language,
Right.
we're usually talking about chrome plating. And you can imagine like taking a thin sheet of chromium and carefully wrapping it around another metal object.
Okay.
That's essentially what chrome plating is.
Got it.
It's a coating.
Yeah.
It's not like the entire object itself.
Oh, so it's like a super thin
Yeah.
chromium shell.
Exactly.
Okay, what about chromate?
Yeah.
Is that a coating too?
Chromate is a coating,
Okay.
but it's created in a totally different way.
Okay.
Chromate involves like a chemical conversion process. Think about how iron rusts when it's exposed to air and moisture.
Right.
Chromate actually uses a similar principle
Oh, wow.
to create like a protective layer.
Okay.
So it reacts with the surface of the metal and forms this thin, durable film.
Yeah.
And it acts like a shield against corrosion.
So chrome is a physical coating,
Yes.
and chromate is like a chemical reaction with the metal.
Exactly.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
So the article highlights a bunch of benefits. For each of these finishes, what are like the key takeaways?
Well, let's start with chromate.
Okay.
The big one is its corrosion resistance.
Okay.
So imagine you have a set of tools. A tool with a chromate finish is going to be way less likely to rust or corrode even if you leave it outside.
Right.
That's because the chromate layer is like a barrier.
Yeah.
Preventing moisture and oxygen from reaching the metal.
So if you're looking for something to last a long time,
Yeah.
especially like outside chromate's the way to go.
Exactly.
And the article says that thicker coatings
Yeah.
actually make it even better.
Yeah. The thicker it is, the better the protection.
That makes sense.
Yeah. It's like a sturdier suit of armor
Yeah.
for your metal.
I like that.
Yeah.
So chrome plating also gets points for durability.
Yes.
But it's known for like the way it looks.
Right. It's that shiny reflective surface that draws people to it.
Yeah, it's definitely eye-catching.
Yeah.
But the article also talks about how its shine isn't just about looks. There are some actual applications for that, right?
Yeah, think about a telescope.
Yeah.
Where you need to precisely reflect and focus light.
Right.
Or a solar panel.
Yeah.
Where you need to maximize the light you capture to make energy.
Makes sense.
Chrome plating is really important for both of those.
Wow. So there's way more to chrome than I thought.
Yeah.
It's not just aesthetics, it's practical.
Exactly.
Now, the article also talks about the specifics
of
these finishes, the different types of chrome plating, chromate coatings.
Yeah, so with chrome plating, you have options.
Okay.
Like bright chrome.
Okay.
Which gives you that super reflective mirror-like finish.
Like you see on a classic car.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then there's satin chrome.
Okay.
Which has more of a softer sheen.
Got it.
It's all about what look you want.
Okay.
Okay.
And what about chromate?
Yeah.
I remember the article mentioned different colors.
Yeah, they have black, clear, yellow.
Yeah, how do they get those different colors?
So that's where it gets really interesting.
Right.
Adding zinc to the process actually changes the color.
Oh, wow.
So you can have a clear chromate finish for a subtle look.
Yeah.
Or you can do a black chromate finish for a bold look.
So it's not just about protection.
Right.
It's about customizing the look.
Exactly.
Now, if I was restoring a vintage car, knowing these differences would be essential. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to put on the wrong finish.
Exactly. You don't want a shiny new part clashing with everything else.
This is so much more than I knew about this stuff.
Yeah, it's fascinating.
Oh.
There's a lot to it.
Yeah, but wait, there's more.
Yes, there is.
In part 2 of our deep dive, we're going to explore some alternative finishes.
That's right.
And we're going to really get into the pros and cons of each.
Yeah, we will.
So stick around.
Welcome back.
We've covered a ton of info on chrome and chromate.
Right.
But those aren't the only finishes out there.
No, they are not. There are lots of other options.
Wait. Yeah. The article also mentioned liquid painting, powder coating, anodizing.
Yeah, it's a whole buffet of choices.
It is a buffet.
Yeah.
So let's start with something that everybody knows.
Okay.
Liquid paint.
Yeah, liquid painting is great. It's versatile. It's readily available. You can use it on almost anything.
But I imagine there are some downsides.
Yeah, there are definitely some downsides.
Like it's not super durable.
Right. Liquid paint can chip and scratch and fade, especially if it's outside or in a high-traffic area.
Yeah.
And it's not the best if you need a super smooth finish.
Okay, so if you need something tougher, what are the options?
Powder coating is a great option.
Okay.
So instead of liquid paint, you spray on a powder that's electrostatically charged.
Got it.
It clings to the surface, and then you bake it.
Oh, wow.
And it creates this really durable, even coating.
So it's like a hard shell.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
And powder coating is really chip resistant and fade resistant. Yeah. It's great for like outdoor furniture, car parts appliances.
Yeah, things that get a lot of use.
Exactly.
Now, the article mentioned anodizing.
Right.
But that's only for aluminum.
That's right. Anodizing is specifically for aluminum.
So how does that work?
So aluminum naturally forms a protective oxide layer.
Okay.
Anodizing basically thickens that layer.
Okay.
You submerge the aluminum in a chemical bath and pass an electric current through it.
Huh. Interesting.
And that strengthens the oxide layer.
So you're like boosting a natural property?
Yeah, exactly.
That's cool. What are the benefits of doing that?
Well, it makes it way more corrosion resistant.
Okay.
Think about like aluminum window frames. They're anodized so they don't rust.
Right. Makes sense.
You can also use anodizing to get different colors and textures.
Oh, wow.
So it can be decorative too.
Okay. So we've got liquid paint for versatility.
Yes.
Powder coating for durability. And anodizing for aluminum.
Exactly.
How do we choose the right one for a project?
Well, there are a few key factors.
Right.
Cost is a big one.
Right.
Some finishes are a lot more expensive than others.
And I imagine the object itself matters too.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like a simple shape versus something really complex.
Absolutely. A complex shape is going to cost more to finish.
Makes sense. What else do we need to consider?
Durability is really important. Something's going to be outside or get a lot of use.
Right.
You need a tough finish.
Like powder coating.
Exactly. Powder coating would be a better choice than liquid paint in that case.
Makes sense. What about looks?
Oh, yeah. Aesthetics are super important too.
Right. Do you want it shiny or matte or a specific color?
Right. You got to think about the final look.
Okay. And what about environmental impact?
That's a great point.
Yeah.
Some finishes use harsh chemicals or a lot of energy.
Right.
So if you're concerned about sustainability,
yeah,
you need to research the environmental impact.
This is starting to make a lot more sense.
Yeah, it's like a puzzle.
It is.
You got to consider all the pieces.
Right.
There's no one right answer.
The best finish just depends on the project.
Exactly. And what your priorities are.
So we've explored chrome and chromate.
Right.
And even some alternatives. But there's still more to uncover.
Yes, there is.
In part 3, we'll tackle a listener question.
That's right.
That goes even deeper into chrome plating.
It's a good one.
So stay tuned. Welcome back to our final part of this deep dive.
Final installment.
I have to say, this has really like opened my eyes to these finishes.
Amazing how complex they are.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah.
So as promised,
yes,
we're going to tackle a listener question.
Right, we got a great question about chrome plating specifically.
Okay.
It really highlights the detail
that
goes into getting that perfect chrome look.
All right, let's hear it.
Okay, so this listener writes, I've heard that the thickness of the chrome plating can actually vary.
Okay.
Is this true? And if so, how does the thickness affect the performance and durability?
That's a great question.
It is.
I just kind of assumed it was like a standard thickness,
right?
Like one size fits all.
Yeah, that's a common misconception.
Okay.
But our listener's right. The thickness can vary.
Okay.
And it really does play a big role in how it performs and how long it lasts.
So how do they even measure the thickness?
So we're talking about micrometers.
Okay.
Or microns.
Okay.
And it can range from like a few microns for decorative stuff.
Yeah.
All the way up to hundreds of microns for industrial uses.
Wow. So like a thin layer for a car.
Exactly.
And a thick layer for like a tool.
Right, or a machine part.
Okay.
And the thickness actually changes its properties.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So, for example, thicker chrome plating is more corrosion resistant.
So it's like adding extra layers of protection.
Exactly. It's a better barrier against moisture and oxygen.
So a thicker coating means it'll last longer outside.
Exactly. Thicker plating also makes it more wear resistant.
Okay.
Think about like a wrench
Right.
that you're constantly using.
And rubbing against stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A thicker layer will help prevent scratches.
Makes sense.
So it's not just about looks.
Right. It's about how long it actually works.
Exactly.
And the thickness can also affect the look.
Yes. Thinner layers tend to be shinier.
Oh, interesting.
Like that classic mirror look.
Yeah.
But as it gets thicker, it can get a little duller.
Oh, wow.
Almost milky looking.
So there's like a trade-off.
Yeah, thicker means more protection.
Yeah.
But maybe not as shiny.
Huh. Interesting.
So it's all about finding the right balance
Right.
between looks and performance.
This has been so insightful. We've learned so much.
We covered a lot.
Yeah, about the science and the applications and even like how thick the coating is.
Yeah.
I feel like I can look at shiny stuff totally differently now.
Hopefully you, the listener, feel like you can make better decisions now.
Right, whether you're buying something or doing a project.
Exactly, or just looking at things out in the world.
Totally.
Yeah.
So next time you see something shiny,
Mm-hmm.
take a minute to think about the science behind it.
Yeah, think about all the stuff we talked about.
Yeah. And remember, the learning never stops.
Never stop learning.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for listening, everyone.